the Yugioh World Championship, the highest tier tournament for competitive play where the best of each country around the world compete head-to-head to fight for the title of Yugioh World Champion. In this video, I, a long-time competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, am going to review one match in Yu-Gi-Oh World Championship history. Together, we are going to discuss the meta, deck choices, and the plays of the match. So sit back, relax, subscribe, and enjoy. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Worlds Review. This is the little series that I do where I go over very famous matches from the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship in history, and I go over them and watch them with you for entertainment and educational purposes. Today's match, we have a very exciting one, and will be one of my favorites in world history, because we have Exodia in this match actually being played by Jarrell Winston from the United States, and then he's going up against, I am so sorry if I butcher this again, Saito Akakizukazu. Again, I am so bad with names, but please forgive me. And he's going to be playing Injectors from Japan. This match is so funny. This is a quarters finals match, and like I said, we have Jarrell playing Exodia, and then Saito playing Injector. But at first, I want to go over the deck list a little bit and talk about the format of where it was at, and go over what the representation was for the World Championship. So let's start off with the representation for the tournament itself. Okay guys, so this is the representation for the 2012 World Championship. As you can see, there's not a big tournament, but in comparison to 2013, just a year later, the representation is so much different. You didn't see any of these decks in the following year because decks got cycled out and got hit in the ban list. Because again, at this point, we still have one ban list that was merging both OCG and TCG. But this is so much more diverse than the 2013 one. The 2013 one, we only had Dragon Rulers and Spellbooks. But this one, we can obviously see here a majority of it being Injectors, but then there's so much other decks: Six Samurai, Dark World, Skill Drain, Malefic, Chaos Dragon, Final Countdown, Exodia, Gravekeeper, Hero. There is so many decks here that were brought, and people really thought that these were the decks to take. So, and these are the best players of each region for this tournament. This is huge. Like the diversity, you don't see this a lot of diversity anymore in the World Championship. This was something that was very special, and watching it from home was absolutely crazy because seeing some of these crazy decks play at this time period were just like, what the hell? So yeah, now we're going to jump over to the Injector deck list first and talk about his list a little bit. Okay, so here is Saito's deck list for Injectors. This is a very old school deck list. Obviously, again, 2012, the format was very different. This is right post Order of Chaos, if I remember right. Well, not right post, I'm sorry. Order of Chaos has been out for a while at this point, and we had Injectors for a while, but these was the highest tier deck for this event specifically. As you can tell by the representation, this was the most powerful and the most consistent and had the best matchups across the board. So for this tournament, Saito decided to play one Blackluster Soldier, one Dark Arm Dragon, one Gores, two Injector Gigamantis, three Centipede, three Dragonfly, two Hornet, two Ladybug, two Card Trooper, one Sangan, three Effect Veiler, like one of the only hand traps that were like viable back then. Besides, you know, the big ones down here. Three Potted Duality, three Mystical Space Typhoon, one Heavy Storm, can't Mystic Mind me with these in the main deck, one Copy of Allure Darkness, one Foolish Burial, one Mind Control, one Monster Reborn, two Call the Haunted, two Torrential Tribute, two Solemn Warning, one Solemn Judgment, one Chain Disappearance, and one Safe Zone. These one-ofs are so random, but so good. If you Chain Disappearance and Injector players Dragonfly, holy shit, they were so upset. For the extra deck, we have one Chimeritic Fortress Dragon, one Armory Arm, one Leviair, one Wind Up Zenmains, one Leviathan, one Giga Brilliant, one Gishki, one, I'm sorry, this Gishki card was like so bad at the time, but people, like, it never came up, in my opinion at least. One Steel Storm Roach, two Injector Exostag, one Tethys, one Arm Ninja, one Exobeetle, and two Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Chargers. And then for the side deck, we have the one Cyber Dragon to go with our Fortress, two Raikou, two Maxi, two DD Crow, three World Decree, two Bottomless Trap Hole, two Really Eternal Rests, and one Transmigration Prophecy. Now, you're probably wondering, Jared, what the fuck is Really Eternal Rest? And I totally don't have to just look this up, but it is a trap card that just says destroy all monsters on the field equipped with equip cards. That is so good in the Injector Mirror match, I completely forgot that card existed, to be honest. But in this matchup particularly, we are not going to see certain cards come into this, like the most powerful card in Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion, Max C, is obviously not going to be played in this. We We also have cards like DD Crow that are most likely not going to be seen. But as you can see, this was a format where it was so diverse and you had to play very, I would say, generic cards. Everyone knew Injector was going to be strong going into it. That's why you see things like DD Crow, Mexes, and the Really Eternal Rest. They're so good in the Injector mirror match. Chain Disappearance being a huge factor in this. But just for the explosive power for this main deck Injector had for the time was absolutely crazy. Even back then, being able to go Injector Dragonfly and Injector Hornet were absolutely insane. But you can notice at the time that this was a format where people did not really know too much about the Dragonfly and Hornet combos with actual equip spells, with things with equipping like 2 things onto the Dragonfly and then popping it with the Hornet. Obviously, you know, we could do it with the Gigamantis, but people weren't actually playing equip spells yet at the time. So there was still innovation to be done for this deck. And obviously you needed to be able to get to the Hornet and Dragonfly, so we played consistency cards like Power Duality. This is a much slower format. You actually had turns to play with. It wasn't a big rush game like it is today. You actually had a lot of turns to be able to find your combo pieces for it. But enough of that. I'm sure you guys want to get to the meaty deck list that is the Exodia deck. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, so here is the Exodia deck list that finished top 8 in the World Championship. We're going to go over it card by card. We have the 5 pieces of the Forbidden One, including Exodia himself, 1 Sangan, 3 Swift Scarecrow to stall, 3 1 Day Apiece because that card was not at 1 yet, 3 copies of Pod Duality, 3 copies of Upstart, also not at 1 yet, 3 copies of Hope for Escape, this card is so good, 3 copies of Reckless Greed, 3 copies of Jar Greed, 3 copies of Yada, 3 copies of Threatening Roar, 3 copies of Wabaku, 2 copies of Accumulated Fortune, and 2 copies of Gift Card. The extra deck, I don't think it was very relevant. I believe this just would be 15 placeholders. There was really no way to be able to use any of these. I could be wrong, but unless that there was some interaction I'm forgetting about from this format, I don't think any of these were used. But for the side deck, we did have 2 Volcanic Queen, 2 Gemini Elf, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Twister, not Twin Twister, that wasn't even released yet, 1 copy of Heavy Storm, 2 copies of Soul Taker, 2 Closed Forest, and 1 Transmigration Prophecy. So we do understand that Jarrell's deck, that he knew that there was cards that he had to be able to out. And as you can see from the Injector player's deck list, we do have the 3 copies of Royal Decree in the side deck. That is completely understandable of why he was playing 6 cards to out that one just to be able to beat it, because you cannot play the game under Royal Decree. You can stall for a couple turns with 1 Day Apiece and Swift Scarecrows, but ultimately you need to be able to out the Royal Decree to be able to play. Now, again, this is a slower format, and Injector could make a board very fast and destroy your opponent's board very fast, but you're not trying to set up floodgates for this deck. You are just chaining cards and be able to draw and stall. You know, it doesn't matter if Hornet pops something like Wabaku. You can still survive the turn and gain your advantage from things like Yada and Jar of Greed and Accumulated Fortune. So, no matter what, you're always drawing and you're always stalling. So Injector didn't have a way at the time where, we can go back to the deck list, where there was a quick effect that was able to destroy set cards on the field. It just didn't happen. Your best card against a deck like this was Solemn Judgment, and the reason why this was so important was because you could Solemn Judgment something and pay your life points down, and your life points being lower really does benefit you against this deck, specifically because of the card Hope for Escape, where you need the life point differential to be able to draw extra cards. So if you use Solemn Judgment and you go down to 4,000, you're drawing a lot less cards off Hope for Escape. Or I should say your opponent's going to draw a lot less cards off Hope for Escape, which is huge in this matchup and is something that's so important to consider. But overall, that's the deck list, and we talked about the decks that were in the event. Now, I want to jump straight into the event. I want to go to the meat of this because I absolutely love seeing decks like this play. Okay, guys, so here is the decks, and everyone is here ready to play. As you can see, we have Jarrell up top, and then we have Saito at the bottom. I'm sorry for the quality. It is 2012. We did not have crazy streaming things at the time. This was still a new thing. This might have been, I think this was the first World Championship that was ever recorded live for like a streaming platform and posted later. So, you know, I'm very grateful that this was the year that they started doing it. So yeah, I also had this at 1.5 speed, so something to remember as I'm going over this, that they might be going a little bit faster. That's because Worlds is played so slow. So yeah. But anyway, as you can see, Jarrell starts up, and he has Upstart Goblin. And keeping track of the life points, that is super important for this deck. Like I said, because of a card like Hope for Escape, it is absolutely crazy. Pod Duality, obviously, card is just insane in this deck. You do not special summon, and you just get more value. And taking something like another Pod Duality for Pod Duality is not that bad, because you have extra turns, and it's just a card that can get you into the fitting piece that you need. So if you need a turn where you need to stall for an extra turn, it can get you Threatening Roar and Waboku. Or if you need it to get you Exodia piece, it can get you an Exodia piece. Or if you want it to get you a draw card, it can get you a draw card. Something that is so diverse, and you're not in a rush for the game. Huge, huge thing. I actually might increase the speed of this again, just because of how slow the pace is. But, okay, so Saito summons Sangan. Again, we're playing this very, very slow. Normal summon Sangan and attack directly, so that you can just do get him down to 7,000. It's going to be a slow race. He doesn't want to play into anything. And then here comes the second pot of duality. We have Hope for Escape, and Threatening Roar. Now, I want your guys' opinion, right? After looking at the deck list and the representation, do you think it was a smart idea to bring Exodia into this event? Now, while I was resolving this pot of duality, at the time, I remember this was a very hot topic for Yu-Gi-Oh! Jarrell got I don't want to say a lot of shit for playing this deck at the Worlds event, but I vaguely remember there being like a lot of drama, and he even made a video about it. It was a huge thing at the time for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, just for him representing the United States playing you could call it a cheese deck like Exodia. I personally believe that this was an excellent choice to bring. This was a deck that nobody was expecting, and nobody really came quality prepared for. You know, things like Maxi and Gores and even the Injectors themselves don't really do a lot to a deck like this. There's not much to do against it. Even things like Effect Veiler, like we've seen there, a lot of the trap cards that were being played at the time, nobody really was prepared for this. There was a lot of dead main deck cards that you would be playing, so you kind of just had to cheese your way through it essentially, and hope that your win condition had to be hope that Jarrell draws bad. That had to be it, because if you didn't, half your deck was dead, and there wasn't really outplaying it. For the most part, there is some specific scenarios where you could outplay it. So yeah, as we saw Saito summon Effect Veiler, Synchro summon in the Army Arm to be able to search, and just being able to slowly establish a board to be able to go all in. Now, a big important thing to realize was that, as something that may not have noticed, was that he did not attack this turn. Seeing the card Hope for Escape, you realize that you cannot do extra damage that is not killing your opponent, because you were just giving them extra draws. The whole game plan is with this card. So if you are not establishing game, you just shouldn't be doing damage. You shouldn't attack, and Saito probably realized that attacking on the first turn with Sangan was probably incorrect, just because it gave him enough life points to be able, for instance, to be able to activate Hope for Escape and get an extra draw. Super relevant. So here we have a big chain coming up. We have Reckless Greed, we have Hope for Escape, we have Gift Card to gift your opponent 3,000 life points, and this is what I'm talking about. You want to give your opponent life points to be able to draw extra cards. So this is going to put Saito up to 12,000 life points, and Jarrell was going to attempt, oh my god, plus Accumulated Fortune. So Jarrell will be drawing, god, what, 1, 2 off Fortune, 2 off Reckless Greed, and then I think it's 2,000 per difference of draws for Hope for Escape. So I think it's another 4, what is it, 8, 10, 12 cards for Hope for Escape too. So I think he's drawing 8 here. I could be wrong. I believe it's 8 though. See, that's what I'm talking about with the World Championship. Everything has to be slowly resolved. Again, it's very, very serious when you're playing the World Championship. So I'm going to put this to 2 times speed now, just so we can get through these plays, because this is going to be very, very slow. So we see Jarrell draw his cards. Yep. 8 cards he just drew off of that chain link. 8 cards. That's insane. It's even more insane when you think about how many extra turns he can buy. There can only be one huge thing. It's not something you can play around. You can't play around and there can only be one. You can't play around things like Threatening Roar and Waboku at the time. It wasn't a thing. So here we go, Gift Card. I really do almost feel bad for his opponents that he beat here, because it was such a smart decision in my eyes to play a deck like this for the World Championship. And I really think he could have won. I think he got unfortunately beat. It's been a long time since I've seen this match, and I am... Oof, man. Hope for Escape again. Look at this. 1 card. Draw 5. That's how the power of Hope for Escape. Reckless Greed. Draw 2 more. Oh my god. Just the number of draws that he's gotten so far is insane. Another Hope for Escape! Keep in mind, each Hope for Escape also has to pay 1,000 life points for cost, so his life points are constantly getting lower as well to further that gap between them to draw. So he drew all 3 Hope for Escapes already. He is drawing so many cards just off of this. It's insane. John, dude, his hand has gotta be huge. Yep. Hornet. Activate Waboku on the equipping of Hornet, so this allows him to not be able to start comboing with the Hornet, so Hornet can just sit there. Unless he starts popping his own cards, which personally I think is correct because there's no reason not to. Activate there can only be 1. Yep, another draw. Upstart Goblin. Another draw. And what do you do, right? You're sitting across from this. What do you do? Another Upstart. There's nothing you can do. You're sitting across from this and you're just like, damn. Look, that's his deck already. His deck's already almost done. He's only got like 4 cards left, 4 or 5 cards left. There's nothing you could do at this point. Normal summon say again. Solemn Judgment. See? Judgment was there, but all 3 Hope for Escapes have already been used. Solemn Judgment at that point being deemed worthless, essentially. So it doesn't even matter. He has to discard all of those cards in the end phase. In draw phase, he's just going to go through the rest of his deck, and there it is. And there it is. Exodia. What can you do against that? Honestly, what can you do? That is so unplayable. He just got obliterated by that. And that, I'm sure, was probably... I mean, he drew the Hope for Escapes very early that match. That was like... He drew all 3 super early. So that was very unfortunate on Saito's side, but... Like, you can't play around it. It's just like, if he has it, oh, he has it. You have 3 copies of Duality, 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, and 3 copies of One Day apiece. So, what do you do against that? You have so much consistency to draw power, and your biggest way to lose when playing a deck like this is you draw into too many pieces, but not all 5. So what I mean by that is you can draw like 2 draw cards, right, and then like 3 pieces, because you're not going to win, and the pieces are dead until you win. So you need to get your engine rolling first before you start drawing into the pieces of Exodia. That was really the only way that that you really lost playing this deck, is just drawing too many pieces. So here we are. We are going to be starting up game 2, I believe. All right. So here is game 2. We're going to have Saito starting. Pot of Duality, Mystical Space Typhoon, Foolish Burial, and Raikou. So 2 cards, set 1 monster, pass. Like I said, this is a slower format. This is a very slow format at the time. We did not have Dragon Wars yet to really blow up the meta. Injector, it was like a very lucky thing if you had Dragonfly Hornet right off the rip. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. End phase Royal Decree, and this is the problem. You have 1 blowout card. 1 blowout card. There's the Twister. That's it. That's it. That's why they're there. That's why you have to have a huge side deck for something like this, because you need to be able to out things like Royal Decree. So Drell going into this event knew that people were going to be siding Royal Decree and that you needed to have the specific out, because that was the only blowout card that you really lost to at the time. And now we did see things like Soul Taker and Volcanic Queen in Jarrell's deck. Maybe he was worried about something like Jinzo as well, but for the most part, Royal Decree was definitely the most accepted at the time. There might have been other cards that I'm not remembering right now, but overall, this was a huge thing. Here we're going to see Raikou attempt to destroy. Oh, and the second Royal Decree! Oh my god. Oh, that sucks. Alright, so the first trap was negated, but he did get the Accumulative Fortune to draw 2, and he is protected for the turn. He really needs to draw an out to that Royal Decree. Oh my goodness. Cannot believe he drew the second one. Upstart, okay. Like I said, this was what I was talking about. You know, even with Royal Decree up, you still have spells to work with. 1 day apiece is Upstart Goblins, that's huge. 1 day apiece being the biggest one in my opinion, because like you don't even have to dedicate to the board. You can just activate Upstart Goblin and just, you know, call it. Now we're back to Saito's turn, milling another 3 with Card Trooper. But with Royal Decree up, Injector plus, you know, Hornet, that's gonna go a long way here. Okay, so I think on the equip of Hornet, we're gonna use Mystical Space Typhoon, and then in the resolution of that, we're gonna activate Hope for Escape. Okay. Now, Jarrell didn't have 5 back row, which is something to really keep note of, so I don't think his hand is great right now. Because he only drew, I think, 1 off of that Hope for Escape. He really needs to draw, like, something insane to make this good. Yep, Centipede, pop your own. Oh, Hornet, pop your own Raikou, just to get Dragonfly out. This could at least let him go for a game next turn, most likely. 2 Royal Decrees are gone, by the way, something to very keep in mind. He did out 2 Royal Decrees. Out of the 3 that came in, 2 of them are already outed. That is huge. Okay, 1 day apiece. That gives him another turn and draws an extra card. Such a good counter. Only 1 back row, though. That's the scariest part. Only 1 back row. Agreed. Draw another card. Hornet, pop Gigamantis. Yep. Some Injector combos here. Centipede, get Ladybug, and then Dragonfly, special summon Centipede. This was such like a revolutionary combo back in the day. Injector being one of my favorite decks of all time. Like, it's so fun. Pop your own Card Trooper with Hornet. Get the Card Trooper draw. This is so strong. It's just, it's just a shame that he's playing against a deck that, you can't really, like, destroy their board and attack. This is just stall, draw, stall, draw. Heavy Storm. Oh my god. The 1 Solemn Judgment again! Oh my god, Saito's insane. Really drew Solemn Judgment both games. That's so crazy. Okay, so here's Pot of Duality. I don't think we're going to see taking MST. We've already gone through 2 Royal Decrees. If you got the 3rd one, that's just ridiculous. It's either Yada or Accumulated. See, I feel like taking Yada is like a sign of weakness because you're really showing that you don't have a Chain Link 4, so you're not going to see a lot of back row here, I don't think. Bro, just go set 1 pass. Yeah, his hand is not strong. Go Yada, draw a card. Maybe he has Swift Scarecrow? Swift Scarecrow could get him through the turn. 3rd Centipede. So the Dragonfly's level 5. Okay, going into the Tethys. Attacking, is that lethal? 24, 16, 16, yeah, it's definitely lethal if that goes through. Taking all the damage for game? So I know you can wait a little bit, then Swift Scarecrow so you take more damage, and then you can, okay, yep. You take some damage, then Swift Scarecrow like 2 or 3 attacks in, so put your life points lower, so that gives you more room for Hope for Escape to be able to draw more cards. Saito is really just digging for the 3rd copy of Royal Decree, because all these cards that you're drawing, and you're just trying to get to it. Going into a rank 3, Zen mains. Solemn Warning your own Zen mains. That's crazy, but genius. And this is what I'm talking about with the Solemn cards. Be able to pay your life points down. Played very well. This is played very, very well by Saito. When you start paying life points just for the sake, you don't care about advantage anymore. You are just here to be able to pay life points so that you can be able to push through and have not them get that big reward for Hope for Escape. Yada, draw a card. Twister, pop your own Yada. Scarecrow again. That's another card you can also get bricked on as Swift Scarecrow. And it sucks because Hope for Escape is as a top deck isn't even an out anymore because of the life point pay. Yeah. Yep, he had it too. If Saito didn't do that, it would have ended much differently. That was a very, very smart play on his part, being able to use the Solemns early so he can pay his own life points down, so Hope for Escape is pretty much rendered useless. That is absolutely huge. Alright, so we see Saito take that one. Jarrell has, like I said, he was bricked up with all of the Exodia pieces. It really is a shame that that Saito played that so well, because man, I'd love to see Exodia win a world championship. That'd be so crazy. Alright, game 3. Upstart Goblin. Something that was really only played at the time for like very, people would call the degenerate decks at the time. Not until Patrick Hoban later would play 3 of this in every deck he ever made for math reasons and did well all the time with it, just to see it go to 1. Pot of Duality. I didn't see the first one, but it was Solemn Warning and Gigamantis. Bad glare on that first card. I can't see what it is. Oh, Sangan. That's what it is. Okay. Yep. Take Solemn Warning. It's so weird that you see, like, these Solemns being powerhouse cards now just because you can pay your own life points down so that you can't draw extra cards. It gives you time. It just buys time. Set draw, set draw. I mean, Jarrell's not going to complain about this, getting extra turns. That's the thing, you have to pay your own life points down and put pressure on at the same time while playing a deck like this. So, Foolish Burial, Dragonfly. Okay, so that pretty much just gives away Call the Haunted, yep. Call the Haunted, Dragonfly, Dragonfly Effect, equip. Oh, Ladybug, not Hornet, okay. Make it level 5, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's a 5. Very blurry 5, but it's a 5. Get Centipede, I would assume. So his engine's pretty much on roll now. Centipede effect, equip Ladybug, Ladybug, make it 5. Centipede effect to search. Add another Dragonfly. Normal Dragonfly. This is just standard Injector combo at the time. You could do so much cool stuff. Like being able to summon this many monsters on the board was very, very powerful. Especially if you're popping at the same time. Oh my god, double. Jesus! He wants to end this now. And if he doesn't end it now, what he could do is Solemn Warning in main phase 2 as well. So some of this damage is connecting. The 2 24s I think went through. 24,000, 1,000? That's not lethal, I don't think. Unless I'm missing something. Oh, they're on them. Oh, okay, so 24, 24, 16, 16. So 32, 24, 22. That is exact lethal if that all connects. Good math on his part. 16, 16. Yeah, it's very simple. 32 and then 48. That is game on board. Looks like there might be some kind of dispute that happened at the table. Between life points or what was equipped or something? I'm not positive. Okay, he did have the Swift Scarecrow, so it's not lethal yet. Jarrell is down to 24. Good life points to be at. Isn't that Centipede at a level 5? Yes, okay. Normal Tethys, warning it, get your life points a little lower. At the time, this was something that not a lot of people would do. This is not even something you would think about, Solemn Warning your own cards. I can't even, like, preface how much of a smart play this was for Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time. This was such a thinking outside the box move from both players to be able to play Hope for Escape deck and for playing how he did with the Solemn cards. 24 and 24? Is this lethal? Nope. Wabaku. Ladybug on Dragonfly to be able to special summon. Centipede. There's Hope for Escape. That's a big one. Oh my god, he drew it all 3 games! Oh god, what a sicko! Oh my god, this guy's disgusting! Saito, what the fuck? Oh, and it puts the life points so low for him. Oh, that Hope for Escape would have won the game probably if that resolved. Oh my god, he drew Judgment all 3 games. It's a 1-of. Solemn Judgment was at 1 at the time. Double Reckless, very, very good. You know, draw 4, very, very, very strong. I can't get over the fact that he drew fucking Solemn Judgment all 3 games. This has got to be something where the language barrier has got to be such a pain in the ass. Between what's equipped to what the Ladybug levels are. That is so annoying. The chain links you have to make for Injectors. I can only imagine the frustration at the table between not even just like Jarrell to the opponent who was playing Injector, but just both ways of just trying to figure out what's equipped to what. It's the whole thing. That's got to be so frustrating. There had to be some type of dispute at the table. I think. Okay. We have Hornet destroying the Gigamantis. Okay. Finally continue. Summon out 2 more bodies. Gigamantis equip the Ladybug. Like, just this is what I'm talking about, right? There's 5 Injectors on the board. Ladybug can put that increase on any Injector monster that he controls, as well as being able to equip the Ladybug to any Injector monster. So I believe that that Ladybug was equipped to the Centipede, and then that Centipede is then using the effect while Ladybug is boosting the level of something else. This is such a clusterfuck of effects to remember, especially through a language barrier. Like, I cannot preface enough how, like, just, not, I feel like annoying and frustrating is the wrong words, but it gotta be so annoying. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because I want to get to the plays and not whatever dispute this may be. Yeah, because they did take a break here. Judge. Please wait for a while. Just a while. Just wait. Alright, so I don't know what happened, but there's guys on the board now. I'm assuming that there was the Gigamantis resolving, and then... You know, Injector was comboing. I'm not even going to try to figure out what he did in that play, but regardless, Injector was comboing. Now it is Jarrell's turn. Upstart Goblin. Give him some life points. Now, there's something I want to preface here, is that being at 900 is very bad for the Exodia deck, because Hope for Escape, as I said, is pay 1,000 for cost, so all of your Hope for Escapes are now off. So I don't know if Jarrell intended for that to happen, or if it was a accidental thing, where like I said, there was some kind of dispute where now life points were skewed because of a miscommunication between both players, and now more damage was dealt than was anticipated from somebody, but... We have a set 3 back row after 1 day apiece, so we can't die this turn. Oh, but there's World Decree. Oh no. He really has got to find Exodia fast. This is not good. End phase World Decree. Yep. Twister, go to 400. Chailing 1 World Decree, chailing 2 Twister. Could use... Or... Wait, that last one was Accumulated Fortune, wasn't it? You could have used that. That wasn't set this turn. The far right one was set. I believe he could use that Accumulated Fortune. World Decree was not active yet. I'm assuming it was chained. That makes the most sense to me. Jarrell set 2 more. Threatening Roar to be able to prevent the attack. Double tribute for a set monster. 1 day apiece to stall for another turn. That's good. One of the biggest downsides here is that Jarrell's Twisters are turns off now because you had to pay 500 for those as well. Hey, Gores. Solemn warning your own Gores. Now, oh my god. This normally would be a good play. I would commend this play. But it is at a point, because Jarrell is a 4 life points. That is terrible, because Hope for Escape is already turned off. There's no reason to be able to do that. The card that you are fearing to prevent that is already over. Oh, Mystical Space Typhoon. Transmigration Prophecy. Yep. Might be able to put stuff back with that. Hook Mystical Space Typhoon. Yep. End phase it on something. Use end phase that. Yep. Yep. MST the MST. And that's it. He had no way to stall for another turn. 3 pieces in hand. Couldn't do it. Draw an MST. Yep. Couldn't do it. Damn. That sucks. Again, I don't know what happened. There was some plays there that I don't quite understand. Obviously, I can't ask the players. This is over a decade ago now. But this was something that I'm not even going to try to understand. And as I said before, that there was some controversy around this. This was where, like I said, Jarrell got a lot of hate for playing this deck, going to representing the United States in World Championship with this deck. This was something that, again, nobody has ever really done before. Nobody took Exodia to the World Championship. But I believe, if I remember correctly, Jarrell was the highest placing United States player in top 8 with that. Yeah, Jarrell was the only player to make top 8 playing Exodia. So, do you believe that he should have played this deck? I personally believe it was a very smart call for a format where people, A, did not know about the Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning interactions for the most part, and B, that the only side deck cards that people were playing at the time that really counter you is Mystical Space Typhoon and World Decree that were being played. There really wasn't a lot of other cards that were, played that actually did something against this. There was some decks that were playing Dark Bribe at the time, but for the most part, this deck, I believe, was actually a very smart choice. and performed very well for him. Obviously, like getting top 8 at Worlds is definitely nothing to scoff at. But overall, I think he did a very wise choice playing this deck, and I think Saito played very well. I'm not going to try to understand what I believe may or may not happen. I don't know why that Accumulative Fortune was not flipped on that chain link, or what happened with the life points, or whatever it may be. But overall, I do hope you guys enjoyed this match. This was a very, very unprecedented match, and to this day has never been done again. He's still the only player, I believe, who has ever resolved Exodia being played at Worlds, let alone actually resolve it at Worlds. Absolutely just crazy stuff. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this match, and let me know in the comments what Worlds match you want to see next reviewed, because this was absolutely crazy being able to see this. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.